how are you, first of all? I'm not starting asking, saying thank you. Thank you, of course. It's it's the second time, but first of all, how are you? It's late, and you must be tired. So we will do our best to keep you awake during this the following 2 hours. We have an interesting panel of speakers. We did our best. It's a cooperation with between Italy and Germany. I have only 2 messages, 2 slides, so 5 minutes should be enough. And the title of the opening is we deal with social sustainability. So we touch the argument, the topic of lean, the workers, the conditions. I think that we should, step up. And the mega trend, one of the mega trend we have today is, ESG, sustainability. And let's have a look. Let's discuss briefly what do I mean by that, and why we are important also for this topic. I'm responsible for the slides, right? Let's see if it works. Yes. The first message is the following. We are going through a series of speeches. The first set of speeches is from academic people, professors. And I believe it is necessary to receive scientific inputs and use those inputs in the industry. So we have a series of speeches which are, let me say, partly theoretical, touching important points, and then at the end we will have in the final part a presentation from a colleague of mine, telling the beautiful experience of a project running at the moment at Whirlpool in Italy, and then we have a final panel with the participation of Volkswagen in presence. So we have here the Jacqueline, the lady from Portugal, Volkswagen. We have connected remotely Jack Liu from USA, an expert from the NIOSH Institute, and we have Manuel Rossi from Whirlpool. And so we try to close and sum up with some key messages. The first message I want to say is that when we talk about ergonomics, in my opinion, there is a bit of confusion when we mix approaches touching the upper part, which is the engineering side of the product development. So when we basically start the product configuration, then we have product engineering, we design all the components, the parts, then manufacturing engineering, we design the process. And then, in this phase, we deal mainly with information. And then we get into the operations. When we refer to ergonomics, it must be clear when we work in this step or in that step. In the first part, it's important to understand, what is the model, the product, the components, the technical information, the engineering aspects. And then we want to use ergonomic tools in connection with the planning tools in order to pre-calculate, predict which will be the ergonomic impact on the workers. It's very important in that step because at that step, it is still possible and convenient, economically convenient to change the project. We have a high degree of feasibility and not a huge cost because we haven't yet cut the metal. In this step, we are in the operation, so we are producing. So it's totally a different approach. And we want to control the risk we may generate with our production method, cycle. So it's important to have tools, digital tools to, detect and collect the motions, for example, to calculate the degrees of bending, the reach distance, and so on. So we have the reality. And here it's important to map the risk. We are asked as industrial people to organize the work in order to avoid risk to our worker. So I make this opening because we will discuss topics in that area, which is an area very close to MTM, and we will touch also these aspects. So when we produce, which tools are available to prevent work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Next slide. I don't want to read the slide. Don't worry. It's about the ESG. Why we are connected with ESG. Of course, we are not. We do not have a lot of influence on the environment aspects. Even if you see that we have a strong and direct impact, because this slide comes from a project we are launching in Italy with our Fondazione, the Fondazione Ergo. We are setting up what we call an experience technology transfer lab. So where we experience the concepts we teach in the classroom, and we want to search for innovations to use circular materials and reduce the carbon emissions. But our focus, coming to this audience, is in the social aspects. Social aspects doesn't mean only to avoid young people working in bad conditions, but staying in Germany, in Italy, in Europe, in US, in the industrialized countries, it's important to deal with those aspects, labor management, health and safety, human capital development, supply chain labor standards. So a lot of companies, especially large groups, they work with the suppliers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers, not only to improve productivity, but to take care of the quality of the work. So these are the two introductory messages I wanted to give. And to respect the timing now, as a second slot in our program, we have I have to call on the stage Peter, and Peter will take the responsibility to give an important recognition.
And I will call Simon Altemeyer. Thank you very much. We will. For me, it's an honor to announce that it's an honor for me to hand over a certificate to Taktik for the achievement that they finalized, or that they finished the process of implementing in a correct way the EAWS method which is our methodology in order to assess ergonomic risk, into their assembly suite. But before I do that, I will briefly introduce really quickly what the intention of the certificate approved by MTM Association is. And one of the big issues that we see in practical application is that it's very important to, if we have solutions like software tools or also consulting activities, that the methodologies that we provide for the market are applied in a very correct, serious and reliable way. And for these values, the implementation of these values and the correctness of the implementation, this certificate is standing for or is representing these values. And therefore, I'm happy that we checked in detail together with our colleagues from Fondazione Ergo how consistent and correct you implemented the EAWS methodology. We checked the rules. We checked that that the results are correct and that the reports are presented in a clear and structured way, as we are used to the results that are presented in the EAWS sheet. So Simon,
happy about that.
Thank you very much for that. It's a big honor to say thank you, and I will hand over the certificate with one hand. Thank you very much. And Thanks. You will be an ambassador now for our EAWS methodology, and this is the most important thing to spread out MTM.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe just some short words to that. Thank you very much, Gabriele and Peter, for handing over this certification. We're very much honored for that. Integrating ergonomics into our tactic assembly suite gives our customers the option to not only have maximum efficiency in their lines, but also good ergonomics. And in addition to that, if they integrate those two planning steps further, they reduce planning time massively. And now standing up here, receiving this official certificate, actually one of the first EAWS certifications.
The first, obviously.
The first one from the Fondazione Ergo and MTM Association makes my colleagues and me very proud. And I would like to say thank you for the very well organized certification process. Goes especially to the Italian guys at that point, and for your trust in us. And we're looking forward to further cooperating with you in the One MTM network in the future.
That's what we do as well. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
Now we're handing over.